Arsenal Fan TV here, and listen, we're here now just to talk about who we'd like to get in the next stage of the Champions League. Arsenal have got through when the groups were announced, it was a tricky group. Anderlecht, Champions League experience, Galatasaray always in there, always a tough place to go to. Went there, beaten 4-1. Of course, Dortmund, and we finished on the same amount of points as them. And unfortunately, we didn't win the group. That Anderlecht, where they came back, that's what messed us up. But we're through to the next stage. Now, unfortunately, in second place, we're going to run into one of the big guns. We could end up getting Bayern. We could end up, getting one of those sort of teams. Who would you guys like to get?
Wait a second. It's not necessarily going to happen. We could get lucky. For once, we could get a lucky draw. And, law of averages says we need a bit of luck in these draws because we always get shafted. So for me, I want Porto or Monaco. I'd love to get Monaco. I think we've got the beating of Monaco, and it's a cracking place to go to as well. So it'd be
expensive hotels, right?
Yeah, expensive hotels. It would be expensive, but it'd be worth it. And if we go out there and if we win, I'd rather go out and spend my money and go and spend it in Monaco. It will cost me more than it will in Munich. But it means a club get an extra 7-8 million. And I'd much rather that happen than we get beaten at this stage again. I want a Champions League quarter-final. It's been too long.
Claude, can we get beyond the next stages? I mean, we're going to find out who we're going to get. But is this team good enough to go far in the Champions League? Even if we do end up drawing a Bayern or somebody like that in the next round?
Well, if we play to our ability, yes, because if you think before, Chelsea won the European Cup with a team which is not much better than what we've got.
Wait, let me just get one thing straight. Chelsea haven't won the European Cup because when the European Cup was about, Chelsea had no flipping history.
No. Sorry, I'll call it the European Cup.
Yeah.
Sorry, Champions League.
Chelsea didn't even exist.
I'm old school. Sorry, man.
Fine. Chelsea were founded after the European Cup finished.
I still call it the European Cup.
But I'm making that clear.
Yeah, but no. But
I know what you mean.
But it's still the same competition. I'm old school. I'm afraid. Sorry. But what I'm saying is, Chelsea won the tournament, which I don't think that team that they had is much player-wise is much better than the one we got.
I don't know. They had a few big game players, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were struggling in the league, and they went on to win the Champions League, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
against Stoke on
so it's quite possible if we. But the big major problem we have to sort out is our defence. We've got to defend properly. If we can sort that out, we've got a chance.
I mean, thinking about that, because those games, remember, and of course we don't know, we're going to find out who we're going to get, but those games will be played in the new year, gives us a chance to get certain players back.
Got all the players back.
And also gives us a chance to go into the transfer market and possibly buy a couple of decent defenders. Will Arsene Wenger do that though? Do you? I always have to keep asking this question. Do you trust Arsene Wenger?
Don't hold your breath, man.
And the problem is anyway.
You could have the return of Kim Kallstrom, I suppose. About 3 months out injured. Yeah, but
a lot of players are cup tied as well. Let's not forget that. Like the one central defence midfielder that I'd like to get would be Lars Bender. If we get him, he can't even play in the knockout stages. And for me personally, I think that when we come up against Europeans elite, with the Real Madrids, Barcelona's, Bayern Munich's, we are not going to win them games. And obviously luck comes into it, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win them games if you haven't got a quality central defensive midfielder to nullify their world-class attackers, and also that sort of striker that only needs one chance. And I don't really think we've got that. So I think we'll be up against it.
So if going into January, players that you're looking to buy, if you're Arsene Wenger, do you look at it? Because basically, the Champions League, Carvalho will be cup tied.
Exactly, and he's available in January apparently. So Schneiderlin, say for instance, a player like him would be able to play in the Champions League. Yeah. Would you go into the transfer market with the mindset that
let me buy a couple of players that I could try and win the Champions League, because basically we're only really going to be able to compete realistically for the Champions League or the FA Cup. Those are probably the only realistic cups we're going to have a chance of winning. Do we really say to ourselves, let's try and win the Champions League, or are we just going to be part of the Champions League?
Having said that, Robbie, 1998, we were 13 points behind at Christmas, and we went on to win the Premier League. So you can never tell.
Is that you being optimistic? I can't believe this. Is that you?
I'm just putting the other side because
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
that's Ty's influence.
No,
you're right.
No. Please do not confuse me with that. 1998, we done it 13. If I'm not mistaken, we were 13 points behind at Christmas in 1998.
And you know the funny thing about it is, I remember the season when we got to the Champions League final, and we wasn't playing well in the league that season either. We was having a terrible time in the league.
I guess the only difference I'd say is that look at the players we had, and you don't have to be playing well because just like what Henry did at the Bernabeu, you don't have to be playing well because he can produce something out of nowhere. Right now, how many players have we got that can do that?
You've got an Alexis Sanchez.
Ramsey,
you've got Ozil who'll be returning. You've got
Theo.
If these players return, that's what I'm trying to say.
And click into gear.
If they all return and click into gear, I ain't going to say win, but could this team go far in the Champions League, regardless of who we drew in the next round?
It can, and you need that little bit of luck as well. You know, you need that little bit of luck. If you get that little bit of luck, we can do it. But it's just.
And what I always say, look, if Greece can win the Euros, right, then surely Arsenal can get to a semi-final or a final.
Even that
a little bit of luck, a refereeing decision, moment of genius. It can happen.
And it's true what you make.
Look at that Liverpool team. They weren't a good side either. The Liverpool team that won the European Cup.
But I'd rather we didn't leave it to chance. I'd rather we went out and got the players that we need to increase the chances of that happening.
I keep saying European Cup. But
can Arsenal win the European Cup? Or should I say the Champions League? What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Or are we, all three of us, more deluded than, say, Ty for saying that we can even get anywhere near winning the Champions League, because we'll probably end up drawing Bayern or somebody like that and we'll be out. Right. What do you guys think? I mean, what do you think? What are we going to? How far are we going to go in the Champions League?
Well,
quick answer.
I don't think we are going to get back to being negative here. I don't think we'll get past the last. I think unless we get Porto or Monaco, I don't think we'll get past the last 16. But having said that as well, before I finish, whatever you say, you still, all this about finishing second or finishing, but you still got to play these teams in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. Yeah. So even if you avoid them in the last 16, it don't make that much difference because you've got to play them in the quarterfinals or the semi-finals. You've got to play them eventually to win the tournament. So I think unless we get Porto or Monaco, I think we can say goodbye to the tournament in March.
Thanks for being positive. And
look, for me, it comes down to luck of the draw. And look, if we get a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, I personally think we'll get knocked out. If that happens to me in the first round, knockout round, then we'll get knocked out there. What I'm going to say right now, there, a little bit positive. I think we're going to get a lucky draw. I've just got a feeling that we've had tough draws. I think we'll get a bit of relief from the problems that we're going through. I think we'll get a decent draw in the knockout round, and I think we'll get to a quarter final. At that point, I think we'll probably end up getting knocked out to one of the bigger lot. But I think at best it will be a semi-final for us.
You've got to remember as well before Monaco and Porto got to the that final in, and they weren't great teams. So anything can happen in football. Football, a bit of luck here, a bit of luck there.
What's going on with him?
I don't know.
You never know. Football's a funny thing. You never know.
That's more like it, Ty.
Oh, please
leave your comments below.
Leave your comment.
I was giving. Come on, Arsenal.
Go on.
Ooh.
Yes!
Podolski!
What a goal!
Come on!
Knocks all the way. Go on!